yourself to get settled in. Find your position, whether that is sitting or laying down. And then when you feel comfortable, just close the eyes to the room. Soften out the shoulders. And start to lengthen your spine. As you lengthen your spine, you'll feel that back lengthening. Then begin to soften the rest of the body. So soften the face, letting go of any tension in the forehead. Allow the jaw to really relax. The shoulders, hands, and feet, letting them just soften. Even the knees, letting them be relaxed. And then begin to connect with your breath. So as you're connecting, try not to control it or change it quite yet, but just to follow and observe, witnessing that inhale and that exhale, how it moves, how it flows in and out. Good, now see if you can start to deepen and lengthen that breath. So deep inhale, deep exhale. And just follow this breath. And on your exhale, let all the junk just melt away and float out with that exhale. And on the inhale, feel this new, fresh wave coming into the body. And again, exhale, starting to let go, starting to release stories, the distractions. And just keep following that. Deep breath in, it's a new, fresh wave coming in. And exhale, just starting to let go. Good, now create just a little bit of effort through the core, your low belly being drawn in. Add this little bit of effort and come into a place where you could still breathe deep, holding this little bit of effort in place. And then check in, soften those shoulders, relax the jaw. Good, one more, and then draw the hands to prayer. Hands in prayer, thumbs to the heart, the chest. And I want you to take a moment to create and set your intention. Good, and then repeat that intention. So you can seal it in your heart space and it can be with you throughout your practice. Once you're ready, you'll release the arms. And then open those eyes whenever you feel ready. Good. If you were sitting up just like I am, just come down to laying position. Once you're laying down, start by drawing the knees in towards the chest. Wrap the arms around those knees, and what you can do is lift the head up for a little stretch, but then release the head down. Soften those shoulders. Good. Then give yourself just a little rock side to side. Try not to go too fast, but just enough so you can kind of check in to see what your back, how it's feeling as it comes on and slowly off. Good. One more. And then come back to center, coming to stillness. Good. Now take your feet and draw them back down to the mat. And draw your arms out to T. Creating a nice straight line from the finger into the shoulder, your opposite shoulder out through the opposite finger. Spread those hands and then release them. Walk your feet wide so they start to maybe find that long edge of your mat. Tuck the chin in just a slight so you can start to draw that core in, maybe a slight tilt through the pelvic. Exhale, start to lower both knees to the right, keeping them wide. And then looking over maybe that opposite shoulder towards the left. Breathe. Draw your knees and your head back to center. Make sure feet are still wide. Draw the core back in, tuck the chin, soften those shoulders. Knees lower to the left, gaze over to your right. Good, so then you're just gonna come back to center when you're ready. And again, just make sure feet are wide. The core can still be slightly engaged. You can relax the shoulders, tuck the chin, and then you'll lower to one side. Gaze looking the opposite way, the knees lower. So just begin to flow through these movements, breathing deep and checking in. Try not to feel rushed. If you do, maybe ask yourself why. Allowing that self-inquiry to come in, that moment to reflect. Good, now the very next time your knees come to your right side, allow them to pause there. If it feels good, you can gaze in the opposite direction. And I want you to stay here for 3 to 5 deep breaths. And check in. Maybe add a little bit of feet engagement, a little bit of thigh, a little bit of core. Relax the shoulders, the hands, the jaw. And let the breath be deep. Good, and when you come back to center, just make sure you're still in alignment. Check back in. And then allow yourself to lower those knees to the left, gazing to the right, checking back in, finding your effort. Maybe it's through feet, core, thighs. Soften the shoulders, the hands, the jaw, and breathe deep. Good, then come back to center. Once you're back at center, walk your feet in closer. Draw the knees in towards the chest, but keep your arms out at T. Engage your feet as though you're pressing against a wall. Engage the thighs, tuck the chin, soften the shoulders. Good. Now take your right hand and let it grab a hold of your left thigh. So it's grabbing that opposite thigh. It's going to help guide your legs over to your right side. So you start to come into a little bit of a twist here. Good. Then take your left arm and start to cross the body. So you begin to come onto your side. Both arms stacked on top. Good. Take your right hand, draw it underneath of the head. Maybe it's the arm. And let your left hand just kind of rest on the floor. Good. If you notice that your hip is a little tender, you can draw a blanket underneath. Maybe if you're on the edge of your mat, you're like, I just kind of need to adjust, that's okay. Get yourself in a more spacious spot. Good. Now I want you to act as though your feet are glued to one another. Your ankles are kind of that like a hinge. And what you're going to do is keep this right part of your body down to the floor. You're going to start to lift your left knee up towards the ceiling, keeping those feet touching one another. Good. Inhale, slowly draw those knees back together. Good. Draw that core in, breathe, open, slowly. Exhale, slowly lower. Good. So do that just a few times, keeping the feet glued together, letting that top knee lift, and then slowly lowering it back down. Good. 2 more times at your own pace. The next time you open, pause. Draw that core in. Feel a little bit of effort through the thighs, maybe even through the pelvic, and breathe deep. One more deep breath. Slowly lower the legs together. Good. As those legs come together, now the thighs are going to be glued and the feet can remove from one another. So that right side is still grounded down. Start to lift that left foot up and off of the right foot. Good. Keep those thighs together. Slowly lower that top foot to the bottom. Good. Do this a few times. Start to lift that top foot. Keep using your core, breathing deep. Slowly lower. 2 more times at your own pace. And when it raises on that last time, come into a place of stillness. Engage the feet. Draw the core in. Engage those thighs together and breathe deep. One more, then slowly lower the feet to meet one another. Good. Now this whole top leg is going to remove off the bottom leg. So when you're ready, inhale, try to keep that leg in that 90 degree and just lift that leg up. Good. The knee might lift up towards the ceiling a little bit so that you kind of open that hip deeper. And then slowly lower that thigh. The foot, they both come down to meet. Good. Inhale, draw the core in. Start to lift that thigh up. Breathe. Slowly lower back down. Good. So do this a few times at your own pace. Good. One more. And when you open on this last one, I want you to come into a place of stillness. Engage the feet. Draw the core in. Soften the gaze, the head, and breathe deep. One more deep breath and slowly lower that top leg to meet the bottom. Good. Now take these legs, they're glued to each other, and start to draw the feet out to the side.
You should be able to see those toes as you're kicking out to the side. Push those feet, breathe. Good. Bend the knees, slowly drawing those legs back into the position they were before. Good. Slowly release the head from that right arm so the arms can come back out to T. Not T to start, actually stacked, and then out to T. Slowly drawing the left arm back to the left side. Breathe and draw the knees back to center. Good. So we're going to do the same thing on the opposite side. So whenever you're ready, draw the knees in. Arms out at T, but soften those shoulders. Left arm finds the right thigh and helps guide those legs over to your left side. Good. Once the legs come down, right hand comes right over to stack on top of the left. So again, if you need to adjust because maybe kind of the mat might be in a weird spot, that's okay. Good. Take your bottom arm, draw it underneath of the head. Top arm grounds down onto the floor of the mat. Engage your feet a little bit. Keep the knees bent. Top leg, those feet are going to be glued to each other. So the thighs or the knees begin to remove from each other. So lift that top leg. Good. Slowly lower that leg back down. Good. Draw the core in. Ground the feet together. Start to lift that top knee off the mat. Off the bottom leg, sorry. Slowly lower it down. Good. Breathe deep, draw the core in. Start to lift that top thigh and knee, feet glued. Slowly lower them. Good, 2 more times at your own pace. You did it on the other side, just might feel different. So explore that. And pause the next time you open. Draw the core in and breathe deep. Good, slowly lower the legs. Good, now the thighs are glued, but the feet can move. So the bottom half is grounded. Start to just lift that top foot off of the bottom foot. Good, slowly lower. Good, lift that top foot. Slowly lower it. Good, do that a few more times at your own pace. The next time that top foot lifts off the bottom, come into a place of stillness. And breathe deep. Engage the feet, the core. One more deep breath. And then slowly lower the foot. Good. Now the whole top leg can come off the bottom leg, but the bottom leg is still grounded down. Start to lift that leg up. Engage the foot. Try to keep that knee and ankle in alignment where they were before. Then slowly lower down. Good. Then lift back up. Maybe you want to go deeper by lifting the knee up towards the ceiling so you're opening that hip a little bit more. And then slowly lower. Good. So you did this on the other side. Just begin to explore it on this side. Using the core, breathing deep. Good. The next time you lift, come into a place of stillness. Find your effort, find your ease, check in, relax. Keep that awareness inward. Two more deep breaths. And on that second breath, that's when you'll start to lower. Good. Then take those legs, stretch them out. You should be able to see the feet or the toes, and then push those feet. Good. Feeling a nice little stretch. And then slowly bending those knees, feet coming back into where they were. Slowly release the bottom arm from the head so the arms can stack. Top arm slowly comes out to T. And then draw the core in so the knees come back to center. Good. Then arms coming around those knees, give yourself a little hug, maybe a quick little rock side to side. Good. Tuck the chin. Draw the core in. With your right hand, keep it on the right thigh or the right knee and begin to lengthen the left leg onto the mat. Engage the feet as though you're pressing against the wall. Take your left arm, draw it out at T. Soften the shoulders, engage your feet, draw the core in. With your right hand, start to open your hip over to your right. Come into a place where you can pause, breathe deep, and then gently draw the knee back to center. Right arm then comes out at T. And let your left hand grab a hold of the right thigh, guiding that leg over to your left side. Arms come back out at T. Breathe. If you want to gaze in the opposite direction, you can. Sometimes it feels good to add that twist in. But then draw the knee back to center. All right, we're going to do that 2 more times, so go at your own pace. Right hand helps to open the hip over to the right. Pause and breathe. And come back to center. Arms out at T. Left hand guides that right leg over to the left. Breathe. Arms back out at T. Come back to center. Core in, tuck the chin. Right hand helps open up that hip to the right. Coming into a place of stillness, breathing deep, feet engaged, core. 3 deep breaths here. The end of that 3rd breath, you come back to center with the knee, arms out at T. Left arm can help guide that right leg over to the left, coming into a place of stillness where you can breathe deep. Good, come back to center. Wrap the arms around that knee if you would like, really quick for a little squeeze, but then release the leg. And you're just gonna switch. So now draw that left foot, left knee in. Give yourself a little squeeze. Keep the left arm or hand on the knee, right arm out at T. Slowly start to open that hip so the knee comes over to the left. Good, breathe. Engage the feet, the core, draw the knee back to center. Then the arms come back out at T. And the right arm can help grab a hold of that left leg, guiding it over to your right side. If you want to gaze in the opposite direction, you can, but engage those feet, the core, breathe deep. Good, come back to center. Good, so do the same thing you did on the other side, so just begin to explore. Breathing deep. One more time on both sides. The next time that leg opens to your left, come into a place of stillness, breathing deep and checking in. 3 deep breaths. And when you come back to center, allow yourself to get ready to come in the opposite direction. Once you get in the opposite direction, come into a place of stillness and stay there, breathing deep. Good, come back to center. The arms can wrap around that knee, giving you a little squeeze in, and then lengthen that leg. Good. Now draw the knees both in, and it's up to you how you want to come up and out of laying off the back. If you want to rock up or roll to one side, come on up. Good, now from here, we're gonna get into hands and knees. So if those knees are acting sensitive, just give yourself a blanket or extra padding with your mat. And then just get set up. So wrists under shoulders, knees under hips, tops of the feet grounded down. Spread the hands, feel the shoulders broadening, gazing down, drawing the core in slightly. Good, tuck the chin, round the spine, push the hands away from the mat. Feel that spine reaching up towards the ceiling. Good, draw the shoulders together, but draw the core in and up. So as those shoulders come towards the spine, keep lifting that belly up. Good. Exhale, tuck the chin, round the spine, push away from the mat. Good, opposite direction. So the chest kind of sinks down, shoulders together, but draw the core up and in. Good, one more time, tuck the chin, round the spine. Good. Draw the shoulders now back together. Keep drawing that core up and in. Good, just come back to neutral and maybe even give those shoulders just a little shrug out. If the wrists are sensitive, it's okay to come down to the forearms. Good. Now when you're ready, start to shift your weight over to the left. As you're shifting that weight to the left, see if you can draw that right foot behind you. Maybe you want the toes down for a quick little stretch, but then lift the foot gently up. Good. As that foot gently comes up, engage that foot, draw the core in, toe pointing down, bend the knee. Good. Take that knee, draw it in towards the chest, rounding the spine, tucking the chin towards that thigh. If it's more comfortable for the foot to touch the floor, that's okay. Maybe it's the big toe. Good. Now lengthen the leg behind you. Bend the knee, keep drawing the core in. Now open that hip by just gently drawing the knee to your right side. That right foot starts to come to the left a little bit. Good. Draw the knee back in. Then draw it in towards the chest, rounding the spine, tucking the chin. Breathe deep. Good. Draw that leg back for a nice little lengthen first. Bend the knee. Open that hip. Good. Draw the knee back in. Tuck the chin, round the spine, draw that knee in, push away from the mat, good. And lengthen that leg, bend the knee, and open that hip. Good. Breathe. 2 more deep breaths. Good. Slowly draw the knee back down to the mat. Let your toes come together. Let your knees travel wide. Then sink that hips down towards those heels and release into a child's pose, relaxing the head, the shoulders, the arms. Breathe deep. Good. Inhale, come back up to hands and knees. Knees back underneath the hips and wrists underneath the shoulders. Make any adjustments, ground the feet down, draw the core in, shift to the right. Now that left leg should be able to lengthen behind you. If you want the toes down for a quick little stretch, that's okay. But then lift the toes up, toes pointing down, bend the knee, draw the knee in towards the chest, rounding the spine, pushing away from the mat. But if the toe needs to come down, that's okay. Good, lengthen that leg, draw the core in, bend the knee, open that hip, so the knee's pointing to the left now. Foot trying to come to the right. Keep drawing the core in, draw the knee back to center, then draw it in towards the chest, tucking the chin, rounding the spine. Good, lengthen that leg. Then bend the knee, open the hip, breathe deep, keep drawing the core in. Good, slowly come back to center, tucking the chin, rounding the spine. Good, lengthen it back, open, bending knee, into a place of stillness. Breathe deep, 3 deep breaths. And once you come back to center, drawing the knee down, toes together, the knees wide, child's pose. Releasing and relaxing. Good, lengthen the arms, lift back up to hands and knees, drawing knees underneath of hips. Good. Relax the shoulders, draw the core in, curl your toes. Shift your weight back, then hover the knees, and then lengthen the legs. Chest pushing back towards the legs. Lift the tailbone up towards the ceiling, but ground and pull those heels down towards the mat. Rotate the hands if you need to. Relax the shoulders so the head may feel like it's coming down towards the mat. And then engage. You should be able to see the knees, maybe even the navel, your belly button. Now you're set up in your down dog. Pedal out those heels. Bend those knees. Quick little stretch. Keep pushing through the hands. Keep pushing the chest back and breathe deep. Good. Now draw your knees down to the mat. Uncurl the toes. Don't draw the knees wide. Just slowly sink back into your child's pose here. Good. Draw the forearms to the mat the best you can in your child's pose. Good. Spread the hands. Come up onto those forearms. You might have to walk them forward a little bit. Good. Draw the core in. Start to curl the toes. Your head may come down to the mat when you come to do this because it's dolphin, and that's okay. Now, push your weight back. Push into your hands. If you need to rotate them a little bit, that's okay. Good. Pull the elbows in. Cover the knees. Then lift. It's almost like you're going into down dog. The tailbone's lifted up. Heels trying to ground down. Keep pushing the chest back. You're going to feel a stretch through the shoulders. If the head comes to the mat, let it. Good. Slowly draw the knees back down to the mat. Uncurl the toes, child's pose. Let those forearms relax. Lengthen the arms, come back up to hands and knees. Draw the core in, curl the toes, lift into your downward dog, lengthening the legs, tailbone up, chest pushing back, pedal out those heels. Notice how different this feels. Good, knees down to the mat. Uncurl the toes, tuck the chin, round the spine, child's pose. Keep the hips together the best you can. Allow your forearms to start to come down to the floor or to the mat. Good. Lift yourself back up to your tabletop with your forearms. So adjust where you need to. Rotate the hands in maybe a little bit. Maybe pull those elbows in just a little bit. Draw the core in. Curl the toes. Start to lift back into your dolphin. The tailbone lifted, the chest pushing back. You're feeling those shoulders getting a little stretched. Breathe. Maybe pedal out the heels a little bit here. Good. Then slowly lower back down. Go into a child's pose. So release those arms. And breathe deep. Good. Lengthen those arms. Come back up to hands and knees. Find your foundation. Draw the core in, curl those toes, downward dog. Adho Mukha Svanasana, get set up. Make sure you have good distance. Rotate those hands if you're slipping. Try to pull the shoulders away from the head just kind of releasing down towards the mat. Good. Now shift your weight to the left. Lift your right leg up. Then rotate the foot so it starts to point to the right. Good. Keep pushing the chest back. Bend the knee. Let the foot hang like it's trying to go to the left. So it might open your hip maybe even deeper. Good. Breathe. Draw that foot, that knee back in. But this time, draw the knee in towards the chest and pull yourself forward. So it's like you're coming into plank with the knees coming in. Then gently push back. Open up that hip. One more time. Good. Foot down. Knees down. Child's pose. Release. Good job. Breathe. Good. Come back up to hands and knees. Come back into your downward dog. Make sure you're settled in. Rotate hands if you need to. You got good distance. Draw the core in. Shift to the right. Lift the left leg up. Open the hip so the toe points to the left. Then bend the knee. Let the foot hang. Good. Slowly draw the knee in towards the chest. Rounding forward, coming into a plank. Good. Then lengthen that leg back. Open up that hip. Good. One more time, drawing that knee in to the spine or in towards the chest, coming forward with the spine. Good. Then lengthen back. Open up that hip one last time. Good. Then foot to the mat, knees to the mat. Child's pose. Soften and release. Good. Come up to hands and knees. Walk your hands forward. Slowly bend the elbows, but keep drawing them in so the chest starts to come down. Lengthen the legs behind you, and you're down on the belly. Adjust if you need to. And then gaze to your right. As you gaze to your right, take your left arm and draw it out at T. Good. Keep the right hand in by your chest. Start to now bend your right knee. Activate that foot as though it's pressing against the wall or the ceiling above you. Then lift the thigh off the mat so the foot lifts up. Breathe. Then start to rotate. You're opening that hip. So the foot comes to the floor on the left side. The knee is pointing up towards the ceiling. Good. Draw the core in. Slowly rotate back onto your mat. You can keep the knee bent or you can lengthen it. When you're ready, lift the thigh up, breathe, rotate, foot coming to the mat, to the floor, sorry, and then the knee pointing up. Breathe. Stay here. 3 deep breaths. If you want to go deeper with the shoulders, reach the top arm up. It's like it's trying to reach back to grab a hold of the back arm. Breathe. One more deep breath. Hand to the mat. Slowly roll back to your belly. The legs lengthened. And now switch your gaze. And then draw that left hand in. Right arm now out at T. Draw the core in, bend the left knee. Activate that foot as though you're pressing against the ceiling above you. Lift that foot up so it lifts the thigh off the mat, and then slowly rotate so the foot comes over to your right side. The knee lifted to point up towards the ceiling the best it can. Good, then slowly rotate back onto the mat. Make any adjustments you need to. Lift the thigh back up, foot slowly crossing over to the left side, coming flat to the floor. Knee lifted. Draw the core in. If you want to go deeper, reach that top arm up. 3 deep breaths. Hand will come to the mat first, and then you slowly rotate, rolling back onto the belly, hands in by the chest, head back, being forward, chin or forehead. Good. Now hands are by the chest. Start to hover those hands off of the mat, lifting the head and chest up. Draw the core in, ground the thighs down. Slowly lower back down, hands and head. Good. Hover those hands, shoulders together, draw the core in, lift the head and chest, ground those thighs down, breathe. Slowly lower. Good. One more. Draw the core in, hover the hands, lift the head and chest. And I want you to stay here for at least 3 deep breaths. And whenever you lower, take 1 deep breath. And then push yourself back up to hands and knees. Good. From your hands and knees, if you need to make any little adjustments, maybe the knees are feeling it, they need a little extra padding, add that in. Good. Find your foundation again, knees under hips and wrist under shoulders. Draw the core in, curl the toes, come back into your downward dog. As you come back into your downward dog, just make sure you're set up. Maybe rotate the hands, shoulders coming away from the head. Make sure you got good distance from each other. Shift the weight to the left, lift that right foot up. Open the hip, breathe. Good, now bend the knee, draw it in towards the chest. Come into a pigeon by drawing the right knee to the right wrist, the left foot over to the left hand the best it can. Did I say left foot? I meant the right foot over to the left side. And then take that left foot and just kind of wiggle back so you can come into your pigeon. Good, the knee comes down. Some people have a little bit of knee sensation, so it's okay if you want that toe curled or uncurl the toe. Good. Breathe. Try not to sit on the right hip. Keep it lifted. If you want to stay here, stay here. Pull the shoulders down, draw the core in. If you want to go down to the forearms, come down to the forearms. But same thing. Don't just sink in. Pull the shoulders back, core in. Or maybe you want to come all the way down, maybe the head resting on the hands or the mat. Just relax wherever you might go into it and breathe. Good. Slowly lift up. Now I said not to sit on this right hip, but now you can. So slowly come over to this right hip. Good. Now keep this right leg exactly how it is. It's in this kind of little bit of an angle going on. Kind of do the same thing with the back leg. Just start to kind of give it a little bit of an angle, almost to mimic the front leg. Good. So now you're almost in like a windshield wipe feel. Your hands might not know what to do, and that's okay. Just start to walk them towards the right foot. And if it feels good, maybe you can come down towards that right foot. Breathe. You need to adjust that back leg a little bit. Do so. Breathe. Good. Slowly lift up. You're sitting still on this right hip, but this left leg starts to lengthen a little bit so it can start to kind of swing around so it comes to the outer edge of the right thigh. If that's too much, maybe it needs to come in close to the right knee in front. But if it can come over to the side or in front, take your right arm, wrap it around that knee, squeeze it in. Left arm coming behind, just a little bit of a twist. Breathe deep. Good. Come back to center if you want to counter twist. Sometimes that feels good. Good. Then come back to center and slowly untangle these legs. Wiggle them out. Good. Now, being as easy and gentle as you can, come back to hands and knees. As you come back to hands and knees, just be your foundation once again. Rest on your shoulders, knees, and your hips. Draw the core in, come into your downward dog. Lifting the thighs, or lifting the knees, hips up towards the ceiling, thighs rounded down. Rotate the hands if you need to. Good. Shift the weight to the right, left foot comes up. Open the hip, breathe, good. Then bend the knee, draw it in towards the chest, coming forward a little bit. Left knee to left wrist, left foot to right wrist. Slowly walk that back foot back until you get into your position of pigeon on this side. You might be like, ooh, Crystal, I am tighter. Just be aware of that. Now, don't sit on this left hip. Keep it lifted. Draw the shoulders down, core in. You can be here if that feels good. If you want to go deeper, maybe come down to forearms. Again, just don't fall in. Draw the shoulders back, breathe. If you want to go all the way down, that's okay too. Just come into a place where you feel comfortable, where you can breathe deep and keep this left hip kind of in a good neutral position in alignment with your right hip. Breathe. Good. Draw the hands on the mat to help lift yourself up if you're not there already.
Again, I said not to sit on the hip. Now you can.
Good. So then we have this foot in front. Probably harder for you guys to see me. You have this foot in front, and then this leg's kind of lengthened behind. Start to bend that back knee a little bit. So you kind of come into almost the same look. And then you're going to fold to this left foot. Maybe coming down to what feels good. Breathe deep. Good. Slowly come up. Start to lengthen this back leg so that it can start to swing around, finding either the front of the left knee or the opposite side. Left arm comes around, give yourself a little squeeze, and right arm behind. This always feels so good after a pigeon. Good. Give yourself a counter twist if you would like. Then come back to center and slowly untangle. Release those legs, give them a little wiggle. Good job. We gave those hips a good little workout today. Work those shoulders and the neck, help to release all that junk in both of those areas. So whenever you're ready, come on down to the mat. Good, draw the knees in. Wrap the arms around if you would like, and then give yourself a little hug if it's there for you. And then a quick little rock side to side, just to check back into how you're feeling. Are there new sensations? Okay. All right. Arms out at T. Start to draw your knees in a circle going around the hips. Good. Use your core. Don't tighten those hands. And try to breathe deep the best you can. Good. When those knees come back to your chest, pause. Re-engage the feet, the core, opposite direction. Try not to grip those hands. Keep the jaw softened. Good. One more circle. And when the knees come back in, you can wrap the arms back around for a little hug if that feels good. But then release those legs. Good. Reach the arms up and overhead. Interlace those hands, and now you're going to do the same thing you did with the legs, but with the arms. Just start to draw them in a circle, slowly going around the body, down the belly, the opposite side, and back up and overhead. Letting the head just kind of rock along with, if it's there, if it feels comfortable. When the arms come back down by the belly the next time, slow the motion and begin to switch your direction. One more circle. And once the arms come back up and overhead, take those interlaced hands, flip the palms away from the head, point the toes, reach the hands back, kind of a different full body stretch, and then release the palms towards the head, point the toes, tuck the chin, and just release the body. Good. So at this time, if there's any last movements that your body's craving, that it needs, just give it to your body. Listen, honor it, and enjoy.
You might be like, oh, I feel great. My hips are open. I need to lay down. I'm ready for Shavasana. Get yourself set up. Use any props that you might need, that you might be wanting or craving. Once you're ready for your Shavasana and you're set up, just take a few deep breaths. Let your body come into a place where it can just really release and be in a state of contemplation, digesting the practice and releasing.
Take a deep breath in. Take a deep breath out. Now take an even deeper breath in. Just a deep sigh out through the mouth. And add a little wiggle through the fingers, the thumbs, the toes, the feet, the hands, slowly moving, slowly stretching the rest of the body. And when you're ready, just starting to lay on one side. Slowly push yourself up to a seated posture. Keep those eyes closed and let your hands come to your heart, palms touching each other. If that's too much, the palms can touch just the chest. And come back to your intention. Repeat it. And I thank you, as always, for letting me be your guide, for that trust in me, and that trust in yourself, and together being on this journey. My light sees your light. We are one.